Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to, for me, a long-awaited video talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. I have been yapping my friends' ears off about this movie since I first saw it, practically. Shout out to Isaac Wolf, also on the Amateur Otaku in the chat for actually, he's the one that pushed me to watch it because I was thinking about watching it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, I heard good things, but I don't know. And then we ended up watching it for a review on that channel. So if you want to see my fresh impressions there, check that out. But today, I watched the sing-along version yesterday. I've also been thinking about the movie for several days. Also had exposure to K-pop Demon Hunters at Anime NYC. Just walking down the street, somebody was playing the soundtrack, so yeah, this is huge. This is big. It's become a cultural phenomenon. Literally top of the Billboard charts, #1 movie on Netflix. Finally passed Red Notice, which I can't say a lot about that, but I'm happy it's #1. So I want to talk about it. I do have it's serious when I wrote things down. It's serious when I wrote things down. So I got some notes here that I'm going to be looking through. So if you see me reading something, that's exactly what it is. But first note, I need an art book. I love the art in this movie. The animation's incredible. The designs are incredible. I think they got awarded for having multiple outfits in an animated movie, which, is pretty atypical. So to see them wear multiple outfits and they're all like, look like something I would wear, something very real. I'm like, that was also pretty cool. Need the art book, please. Netflix, Sony, whoever, drop the art book. Next thing I wanted to say, also we're gonna be going into spoilers later on, so if you haven't watched K-pop Demon Hunters, you 100% should. It's very fun. I don't think it's just for kids either. I think it's just like a fun movie in general to watch. And going into kind of like why it's fun, the main character is Rumi, but she also has two I guess I forget the wording, but like two characters that are also important to her but not as important as her. There's Mira and Zoe that are her bandmates essentially. And I love that they're all like, they're funny, they're weird, which I feel like female characters in media in general don't get the opportunity to be weird, to be goofy, to like make ugly faces, that kind of thing. Like there's always the pressure like, oh, women have to be like put together, they have to look pretty, they have to like what they also have those same attributes in this movie as well, but they're more complete people because they get to just like be weird, be goofy, make ugly faces, that kind of thing, which I love. They're also boy crazy, which is hilarious. It's funny, they're boy crazy, but they're also like not so like boy crazy is like I will do everything to get this man kind of thing. They're realistic, and they're also hungry, man. I feel like it's not often that we get to see like women like going and devouring food, unless it's something centered around food in general, I guess. But it was also cool to see that like, oh, they have little celebrations where they put food at the center of it, like, oh man, I really want like I think it's ramyeon is what they said, like I want that, all these other kind of things. I'm like, I relate to that deeply. I love that for them. So that was really cool. But yeah, they're multifaceted characters, and I also love that the writer, which let me get the writer's name, Maggie Kang. Shout out to Maggie Kang. And then I think her partner in this is Chris Applehans. I don't know if I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. I've seen those two in interviews quite a bit. I also, not the first time, but this is probably the first movie in a long time where I actually went and watched the kind of press tour of it. So watching the cast talk about like the movie, watching the singing cast talk about the movie, watching the director and the writer talk about the movie. Like that's something I typically don't do, just because I'm like, not in a mean way, I don't care enough to do it. When a movie hits me this deeply, then I'm like, oh yeah, like let me look into those things. But I know my friends, like they'll do that for a lot of the movies that they watch, but I'm not I'm not the same. But this time I'm with them. This time I'm with them. But the writer Maggie Kang, she's Korean American, and I like that she kind of like put herself into this story, wrote a story about her culture, about kind of having two different identities, and also just about like being a lady or a young lady, and like experiencing the world and having different identity challenges, and kind of persevering through that. That's something that's really awesome, and something I feel like will help this movie continue to be age really well, I think, in the future. Like for me, I told Isaac this in our review, but I think that this is like the next generation's High School Musical. Even though when I think about High School Musical now, I'm like, did it have any of those kinds of themes in it? Or was it just like, we're in high school, we're trying to figure ourselves out kind of thing? It's like, yes. But I guess it just feels a little bit more personal to me because it's a female-centered story. And the music is better. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like Zac Efron's hotness, you know, it carries. It carries a bit. His music is still good. But K-Pop Demon Hunters, legitimately, I know it's gonna be my album of the year on Apple Music. Yes, I use Apple Music. Golden will probably be my song of the year because I have listened to that soundtrack probably at least 10 times. At least 10 times. It is so good. Speaking of the soundtrack, I wanted to shout out Jazopa. Let me see, what's the full name? Jazopa playlist on YouTube. We're actually listening to their K-Pop Demon Hunters jazz arrangements. I found this while I was streaming last night. Oh my gosh, they absolutely cooked. It's bangers. Everything is a banger. So shout out to them. Hopefully it's cool that I use their stuff. If not, we'll figure that out when we get there. But yes, please do check out the channel. Go like the video and everything for that because the music is very good. I'm actually curious to see what else they've arranged. But back to the music. Back to the music of K-Pop Demon Hunters in specific, I also love that they found a lot of like underground like K-pop artists, or really Korean American artists, or even just Korean artists and songwriters, and brought them in for this project. A lot of the singing performers for each member of the main cast, they all have like been in the spotlight in some kind of way, but they haven't had the opportunity to be like a big K-pop star to this degree, to like what this movie has kind of like elevated them to, which I love that they had this opportunity, because they're all really good. And it's crazy to think that a lot of the stories kind of had a common thread of like, in idol culture, you have your debut and some people, I guess, were just too old. Which I'm like, it's music. What are you talking about? They're too old. But, they want people to be young and fresh so people can look at it and be like, ooh, all that kind of stuff. Even though they're all good looking too. But besides the point, they missed their window of opportunity, I guess, with the idol world. But maybe this can give them something new. I don't know if they would want to join an idol group at this point, but hopefully they can kind of do more of the things that they dreamed of doing when they were in the more prominent, I guess, K-pop positions. But yeah, I just love that this movie gave them that opportunity as well. Fantastic. I really feel like this was like a labor of love, just gathering all kinds of different both Korean and Korean American voices and some American voices too, to kind of put this together. But something that I heard at a panel at, I think it was Anime NYC, was that if you try to make something for everybody, you're gonna make something for nobody. But making something really specific is going to be, what was the word that was used? Basically kind of connect with everyone in a way, because everybody can connect to specific things. Like, the girls, they're hungry, like everybody eats, everybody is like, oh, I have a favorite food thing, I would love to, if I went on tour, I would bring this with me, kind of thing. Like everybody can relate to like those kind of specific things in different ways, versus trying to be so like connect with everyone, that you're kind of a blank slate. Like nobody can really connect with that because we all have our own specificities. I don't know if I communicated that right, but basically, specific stories good. Let more creators do that. So I wanted to do a quick song ranking. Don't judge me too harshly. This kind of changes the more I listen to the soundtrack. But I have at number 1 How It's Done. This wasn't always my number 1, but the more I think about like how that song was first presented and how in the movie like the action goes to the beat of the song, and just the kind of like female anthem, like get your blood pumping, like fist pumping kind of thing, I'm like, yeah, that's I could listen to that any time of day, to be honest with you. Next we have Takedown. Similar kind of thing. I have thoughts about it in the movie, but as a song itself, I'm like, oh, that one's fire. That one's also a fist pumping one. I relate to the aggressiveness that they feel in the song, because sometimes like, ooh, this person's making me upset, or like this thing is making me upset. I just want to, and then number 3 is Golden. Weeks ago, I would have told you Golden was my number 1. But there is a small thing in Golden that I'm starting to like, it irks me a little bit. We'll get to that when I talk about the movie. Your Idol, that's great. That's a great song. It's banger. The boys, they was looking good in the song too. It was crazy because I was like, oh man, like they really were putting on like the evil aesthetic, and when I first saw it in the movie, I was like, like I don't dig these outfits at all. But then the way that they carried themselves, I was like, whoa, like that's pretty good. Like the bad boy vibes, they were up. Strategy is a fire freaking song. I believe that Twice was the first group to sing it, and then they brought it into K-Pop Demon Hunters. Love Strategy. Strategy's great. What It Sounds Like is at my number 6. I really enjoy it. I think I enjoy it more post watching it the first time, because I really liked Golden the first time I watched, and then having What It Sounds Like be like the finale thing, I was like, no, it should be Golden. But now I listen to it, like, no, I disagree with past Jamie. I think What It Sounds Like is a good one. Free, I really like as well. I think it might be more, the tonal shifts might make more sense to me than it does in Golden, but Golden's a banger. It's a banger. Free is good. The Golden is a banger. What does that to do with it being number 7? It just had to be on the list. No, but it's good, but I don't like it more than the other 6. And then Soda Pop at number 8. A lot of people seem to love Soda Pop. I like Soda Pop. It's fun. I feel like thinking about it more deeply, about like the lyrics and how it's supposed to feign innocence, but really it's a more mischievous, like, I'm trying to get your soul kind of song. I think I like that more about it, but overall I'm like, I could skip this song and I would be okay. But I don't. I like it. Ooh. I have another comment here that I like. It can't be fully addressed here, but I did want to address it somewhat about K-pop being kinda complicated, from the sense that there are so many influences from Black culture in K-pop, and that's not fully recognized in the artistry or by the artist or by the fans or anything like that. I kind of low-key been digging into K-pop a little bit, and I saw that and I was like, ooh. So I did want to talk about it, and it makes me hesitant to like get deeper into like K-pop groups, because some of the groups are a bit problematic in that regard. So if anybody has any recommendations for non-problematic K-pop groups, that would be appreciated. So far, from what I know, BTS has actually acknowledged, like, oh yeah, we love rap, we love hip-hop, we love R&B. Like, it definitely influences our sound, which I appreciate. So BTS, I feel like I can ethically consume and not feel twisted about it. Not that you have to morally consume everything, because honestly it's almost impossible to do that, but it does make me feel better about it. So yeah, if anybody has any of those recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't even know what would be the right way to go about, I guess, just acknowledging it. Just being like, yeah, like, we're influenced by this thing, we like it. Like, that's all you have to say, really. The denial of it is what makes it weird to me. And then last thing before we get to my like diary and my journal of my second watch and my thoughts, I did want to say that this year in particular, which I've actually been shocked about, but this year in particular, I feel like there's been a lot more media around specific cultures or groups of people, and I've really enjoyed that. So I did want to highlight some of those in case people might have missed them or is looking for a similar thing that I've also been enjoying. So South of Midnight, I did mention in my Sinners review. South of Midnight is great, centered around more like Black Southern culture. It's a video game made by Compulsion Games, and it's on Xbox and PC. Definitely check it out. It's a great one. Probably talk about it again at some point this year. Sinners, I feel like most people have seen Sinners, but in case you haven't, you should go check it out. That one's also Black Southern culture, culturally focused as well. Very good. Had a lot of fun with it, and hopefully they do some like I don't even know, a sequel would be appropriate, but just continue to explore that universe. I would love to see that. And then a new one to the list that I have not mentioned on this channel, I don't believe, is Clair Obscur Expedition 33, I should say. That one is actually centered around French culture, and is about, to give you the broad sense of the story, it's about a group of people that are trying to figure out how to stop the erasure of people above a certain age. So Expedition 33, they're all like 32-ish, and they're trying to go figure out what's going on within a year before the next group of people gets erased, which would be 32-year-olds and above. But you know, it's just 32-year-olds because everybody else above is erased. Rough description, but I recommend y'all go look that one up. That one's great. That one right now, it's also a game. It's a game. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. I think it's my game of the year right now. Ghost of Yote has yet to come out as recording. That could be my game of the year, but it's gonna be rough. It is going to have to rip that from the claws of Expedition 33 for me, because that's a great game. That's a great game. I love learning a little bit more about French culture in that, and kind of being immersed into that world. Yeah, very dope. Very, like, again, having the specificity, even if you can't directly relate to, like, you know, I'm like, I guess French in the sense of my last name is French, but other than that, like, I'm not French. But being able to dive into that world and learn more about it was still interesting to me. So that is just fine. That's very cool. I love having like more specific focused stories like that. Also, I saw Eyes of Wakanda, the animated series. I know me and my mom was talking about that a little bit. That one was really good too. Check that one out. But now on to this journal, which I have many things to say. I'm gonna try not to bore everybody. First bullet here. I wish they fleshed out how Huntrix became hunters, and I would love to know more about previous hunters. That's simply put as it is. This movie does have some pacing issues. Still love it regardless, but you know, being honest, it does have pacing issues. Supposedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but I kept reading that there was like 30 more minutes of the movie that Sony decided to just like cut it for some reason. Might have could have helped. Maybe. I don't know. Which Sony also, it's seemingly like Sony did not believe in this movie either, which like makes the triumph even better to me. Because I'm like, why would you not believe in this movie? I don't know. Anyway, oh, my next comment. So I said, bro, having the first musical number be in sync with the action set this movie off. Was leaning forward from the beginning. Yes, that's reference to how it's done, the way that song was introduced, and Huntrix immediately getting into a fight with demons, and also starting their concert, which I thought it was a little bit funny because considering the song starts when they're in the plane up in the air, and then by the time that they like get through the middle of the song and they come down, land at the concert venue, they're already halfway through the song and they're just performing. As a fan, I would have been like, why did we start in the middle? what happened? Like, it was still hype, it was still fun, but it's like, what happened at the beginning of the song? Like that, I just thought that was funny. A question I had is, so people, and you see this at the beginning of the movie when some of the demons fall down from the plane and they're among the fans, and the fans are like, oh wow, that's crazy costuming. I don't even know why they would think that, but the demons, or the people can see the demons, but apparently the people can't see the Honmoon, which is like this, almost like a fish net. It's kind of surrounding the world, creating a barrier between our world and the demon realm. I guess, I don't know, they don't explain much about the Honmoon besides the fact that like, oh, we need to continue to strengthen it, make it so the demons can't pass through anymore. It also seems like they pull their weapons out of like the Honmoon, but they don't explain that too much. Not that it super needed to be explained, but upon second watch I was like, oh yeah, they never really explained that. I think Guima, I don't know how you say it. I apologize, but hopefully I'm saying it right. Guima's being like the big bad demon. I didn't think about him a lot. I thought more about the Sanji boys than Guima. But I think he was good in the movie. But I've almost wanted him more, I guess. More of him. To be like, okay, like, oh, Jinu kind of weakened you guys, and then Guima comes in and like does the final strike or something. I thought that would have been cool, but that's fine. It is cool. Oh, my next comment. So the tour that they were on at the concert when they were like killing the demons and stuff, it was called the final tour because I guess they were going to take a break for a few weeks or something after that concert. And of course Rumi, with her secretly being half demon and kind of wanting to get rid of that part of herself, was like so eager to like, okay, like let's keep going, like we're very close, like let's get this done, that she cancels their break effectively. And I thought that this was funny because when they first get off stage, their manager Bobby goes up to them and is like, oh my god, like you guys did a great job, I booked y'all a spot at a resort to go relax for a while since we're taking the break. And Rumi's like, no, Bobby, like you deserve the break, go to the resort, have a good time. So Bobby gets all robed up, he's like, okay, you don't have to tell me twice. And then Rumi literally probably an hour or so later publishes their next single, and Bobby shows up not upset. Like, if I was Bobby, I would have been pissed. I'm like, what do you mean? You just told me I had 2 weeks off and now I gotta come back to work? Like, what are we talking about? That was just crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe he loves his job. If it was me, I would have been upset. I would have been very upset. Like, yay, the song is a success. Everybody's liking it. But why? What happened? Why did you do this to me? Oh, man. And then kind of moving into, I didn't realize how early this was into the film until like the second time I watched it, but the reveal that Rumi is part demon did not see that coming at all. Didn't see it coming. I literally thought she was just a workaholic and was just like, go, go, go. Like, we got to make the next thing. And I thought that was maybe something we would have to resolve. But no, it's just her being part demon. Like, okay, a bit more straightforward. But that reveal happens during Golden. And it's like a part of the song where like everything's like, we're going up, up, up. And it's like all like very like poppy and like fast paced, and then it goes like doom, and everything slows down. It's like, waited so long. And I'm like, wait, that change for me, even though it's brief and we pick everything back up and we're dancing, we're vibing, that change for me was like, gave me a little bit of whiplash. I was like, oh, like I thought this was like a happy song, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, low point, and then it picks back up. I don't know how you would change that. Like if she needed her own number to talk about being a demon, or I don't know. But that part does kind of bring that. Even though I do think the vocal performance there is still great, but it does bring the song down a little bit for me. I think that's probably the thing that has made it drop from my number 1 to like, I think my number 4 or whatever I said it was. It's just that small like momentum shift. Let's see what else. Oh, this is actually, I was very curious why they didn't do more with this, even my first watch through. I'm surprised that Rumi's like demon voice, when she like gets very angry and yells, I'm surprised it wasn't used more or like used to strategically. And it reminded me of, and I don't know if my mom watches my stuff, but I don't know if she made it this far into the video. But it reminded me of Chloe in Pitch Perfect when she gets the nose on her throat. So when I think she gets them removed or something happens where, you know, the issue is resolved. But what happens is she ends up changing her her vocal range. So she can sing lower notes now because she had the notes. And I thought that's kind of what was going to happen with Rumi, where because her demon voice is like a lot lower than her regular voice. So I'm like, oh, maybe she'll be able to sing like extra low notes now or something. But no, it's just her demon voice was just her crashing out as a demon. Like that's about it. Which, yeah, it's fine. But I thought it would be interesting to do something with that. Especially as towards the end where they start talking about like bringing like the demon part of herself and the human part of herself together. You would have thought that maybe demon voice could have done something. Maybe some screamo. I don't know. Screamo. Some screamo. Maybe some screamo. Who knows? But this was kind of randomly added, I guess. I think this is probably when, actually I don't know. I typed this randomly, I guess. But the cartoony expressions are great. I really like them. Like I mentioned at the top, they're kind of remind me of like anime-ish expressions, but they're in 3D, so it's still like an added element to them. This is probably when she went to the doctor after her voice started going crazy, and the doctor was making like the crazy eyes and all that stuff. That part was a little, I feel like maybe the first time I saw an anime it was disarming, but now whenever I see it I'm like, oh, it's just the goofy crazy eyes. But then seeing it in 3D I was like, whoa, like he's kind of he's being a little crazy. So I guess seeing those expressions with new eyes also was interesting to me as well. Added another layer to the artistry. That's definitely what it was, because my next note was talking about the switch of the girls from like adoration for the Saja boys to like absolute disgust after Ginu just like bumps into Rumi and doesn't help pick her up. I thought that was so funny and so real, because sometimes, like, you know, you and your friends talk like, oh, like this guy, he's cute, whatever. And then he does something that y'all don't like, and it's like, you know, he was never even that cute. Like, let's move on. Like, that is so real. That was really funny. Also, the popcorn eyes, genius. I don't know who thought of that. Give them a raise. Incredible. That was so funny. What else? Oh my gosh. Derpy. The big, I feel like it's some kind of spirit. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a cat, essentially. Big cat. Tiger. Derpy is one of the most funny characters in this movie, so unexpectedly. Because, like, when you first look at him, he looks pretty scary. And even knowing how he is, he's still kind of scary. But seeing the way that Derpy acts, and just that first intro of him, like, coming out of the shadows and, like, knocking over the flower pot, and then he just hyper focused on picking the flower pot back up, was so funny. That was great. That was probably one of my favorite character moments of the film, just because it was so unexpected and it's just so funny in that way, because I'm like, I could totally see a cat doing something like that. Okay, here's my thoughts about Takedown. Now we got to that point of the film. So I said Takedown is a great song, but the lyrics do sound kind of crazy when you think about them killing the Saja boys early in the film. Like, yes, they're demons, but they hadn't really done anything evil up till that point. So it seems overly aggressive, but I think it does help sell Rumi's case later on in the film about that not being the right song to bring to the Idol Awards. So it does kind of come together well that when you sit with those lyrics, you're like, yeah, that is kind of crazy to hear them sing about. And Rumi even comes to that conclusion, like, guys, this is not the song we should be singing. Like, it just sounds like it's just not them. It's not them. It's feeding into, like, the hatred that they try to fight, you know? So I'm glad that Rumi came to that conclusion. Otherwise, I would have been like, yeah, that was maybe not out of character, but it went too far. It went too far. But Isolated as a song, that's a banger. That's an absolute banger. But as they're fighting about Takedown in the movie, Rumi says to Mira, because Mira's like, she's figuring out Rumi's hiding something from her, which is her demon identity. And Rumi says, not everything's about your insecurities. And I don't know where that line came from. Even watching it a second time, I don't know where that line came from. Because the only thing that Mira is seemingly insecure about, and she even says it towards the end when like, it seems like all hope is lost, that she feels like she doesn't belong in a family or doesn't deserve a family. So how would her feeling undeserving of a family and being insecure about, I guess, that aspect of her make the song, or make her disagreeing with Rumi? How does that correlate? I don't know. I feel like Rumi just said something to, like, throw everybody off, and it worked because I was thrown. I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. And then we kind of move from that, having that moment. She doesn't really ever apologize to Mira, really. Like, they hug at the end, but didn't apologize about that comment. But we moved on. Rumi is meeting up with Jinu, has been meeting up with Jinu a few times, per the invitation from Derpy. And they've fallen in love? Question mark. That's another part of this movie that has some pacing issues, is the romance plot between Rumi and Jinu, because I just don't buy it. Like, do I think they like each other? Yeah. Do I think they're, like, in love and, like, wanna, like, I don't know, just being in love? Like, no, I don't believe that. Like, I don't think that they know each other like that. And it felt very, like, too fast. Sudden. It felt sudden. I think if we had more time to, like, sit with it and see that it's more than just, if anything, a crush or a flirtatious thing, then I maybe could have believed it. But that's what made Free feel weird to me, the song. I love the song in general. The lyrics, Isolated, good romance song. But in the movie, I was like, I don't know. It just felt not right. It felt not the right moment for that. Yeah, but then after Free, we go to the Idol Awards, and the dance choreography throughout the entire movie, but I think especially at the Idol Awards, was super awesome. And especially for, like, animating dance and dance moves, I think can be challenging, just animation in general is hard. So that was just something that was really impressive to me, and it looked really good. And I've seen people do the same dances that they were doing in the movie. So clearly, people are able to read it well enough to like copy the choreography. So, just shout out to the animators once again. They did an amazing job with that. Now see where Takedown did impress me in the movie though. So the demons, they create this plot to pull Mira and Zoe away, and then the demons like shapeshift into them, walk out on stage, and they're performing Takedown. But it becomes a takedown of Rumi, and I was like, oh, that was fire. That was fire. That was very smart. That was a dope moment. I really like that. That was bad for Rumi, but that was cinema. That was great drama. But then kind of seeing the all hope is lost. I also felt like that happened a bit too quick. Like, oh, super depressed. Now go save the world. Like I could have sat a little bit more in the depression, in the sadness, and then had like the but we can still fight back, and then you have your big finale moment. But pacing issues already established that was something that I had a concern about in the movie. But Zoe's, when she loses hope and kind of succumbs to the influence of Guima, and hears his voice, the voice that, well, hears her emulating her own voice, but saying her insecurities. The thing that she hears is, let me see, what was it? You're too much, but not enough. Oh my God. That's crazy. Like that's a destructive sentence to say to somebody. I don't constantly feel that, but I definitely felt that before. And to have like your inner demon say that, yeah, like I would fold too. I would absolutely crumble. That was crazy. Oh, and then another critique I had with this film, Celine. Why was she not closer to the group? If she was supposed to be like the mentor, or at least have like a closer eye on them and kind of see what was unfolding, I think Celine should have had a bigger part in this film. But at the same time, because she doesn't have a bigger part in this film, she feels like an absentee parent, and I don't like her. Like some people say, like, oh, what she did was out of love. And I'm like, kind of, but not all love is good love, Like she wanted Rumi to hide a part of herself forever, and she couldn't accept that part of herself either. And I'm like, that's not a complete, like, what is the word? Limitless isn't the right thing, but I guess that's what I use for now. Like that's not an unlimited kind of love. Like that's very like, I'll love this party, but this other part I'm not gonna touch. And like I didn't vibe with that at all, especially as her like mother figure. I'm like, that was kind of awful. I wish Celine had more time so I could like understand her more. Maybe I wouldn't feel that way towards her, but not every character you're gonna like, so that's fine. And then I talked about your idol being ultimate bad boy mode. I said I was here for it. I love that Rumi, so she tells Celine this, but then she also kind of reaffirms it at the Soulja Boy's concert, I guess, where they're taking everybody's souls. She says that she's going to remake the Han Moon and make it her own, because what Celine said, like they made the Han Moon based on like concealing their fears, concealing their flaws, not being able to show those parts of themselves. And she's like, you know what, that's not right. We shouldn't live that way as people. And so I'm gonna make a Han Moon that actually does accept us as whole people and not just parts. And I really like that, actually, because sometimes I feel like in life you do have to make your own space, or say like, hey, this thing that you're doing, like it's just not right for me. I have to go do my own thing, essentially, like Miles. So I love that she was willing to say that to her mother figure, and they like, you know what you've been doing works for you, but that doesn't work for me. I have to figure this out. So I like that she's making her own home, and it kind of leads into my last comment before I get to that second to last one. My second to last one was that I thought Jinu's sacrifice was cool, but it also felt like, oh, okay. Like it didn't hit me. I think the first time I saw the movie, maybe hit me a little bit more, but the second time I saw it, it was just like, look, yeah, I could see you doing this. It did give him, because Gina talks about being so self-serving the whole entire movie. It did give him another option to kind of serve his own goal, which was to erase his memories. And like, if he's not alive as a spirit, I guess, a demon anymore, then that does erase your memories. So did Gino really learn anything in that? I think he did, but it didn't convince me that it was a completely selfless act, which is what I think would have resolved his whole arc of being selfish. That's just me though. That's just me. Still cool though, I'm sad for Rumi that Gino may or may not be gone, but hopefully there's another boy out there for her. But my final bullet is, so the conflict of this next movie, because they've already greenlit, I think, 2 more movies, so there's gonna be 3 K-pop Demon Hunter movies. And the conflict of the next movie is to make the Hanmoon golden, ? Which was the conflict, well, not the main conflict, but a conflict of this movie. So I'm just wondering where we go from here. Like, are we gonna do the same thing again? Or did the Hanmoon not actually get, I guess, rebuilt, and they actually are gonna go through the process of rebuilding the Hanmoon? Or do they retire? Because I feel like that's something you retire on, is all the things that happened. I was like, I would have ever retired, but I don't know. I have no idea. But actually, I hope they don't retire, because I want all the musicians to come back. And all of the actors as well. They did a great job. I'm like, please don't. Let's think of a different, maybe in the third one they can retire, but the second one, y'all better be back. That's all I gotta say. They have no Saja boys though. Ooh, that might be tough. Because interestingly, I feel like there are way more people that like the Saja boys than like Huntrix. Not that people don't like Huntrix, but I think they like the Saja boys a lot. So I don't know how they're gonna get around that. If there's gonna be like a new edition Saja Boys 2, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I have no idea where they could go from here, because this felt like a complete story for the most part, pacing issues aside. Which I would have preferred, I've said it on many times throughout many of the different podcasts I do with my friends, that I prefer a movie that's going to tell me a complete story than a movie that's intentionally like trying to sequel bait you and be like, oh, we're going to resolve everything but this one thing. You'll have to come back to the sequel to see it. And then it still doesn't get resolved. And that's annoying to me. So I'm glad they told a complete story so they can tell another complete story next time. But yeah, I've yapped quite a bit here. I really enjoyed this film, if you couldn't tell. And I'm glad that there's going to be more K-pop Demon Hunters in the future. Hopefully it doesn't take as long as freaking the Spider-Verse films, because those have slowed down tremendously. Oh, Sony. But yeah, please let me know down in the comments what you thought about K-pop Demon Hunters, whether you really like it or maybe even you don't like it. I'd be curious to hear why. And if you really like the soundtrack, I feel like the soundtrack, that's the thing that's definitely blowing up about the movie for sure. Even though like the movie is also very popular, but the soundtrack is much more, I guess, accessible, and people have definitely been vibing with the soundtrack quite a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I've yapped for like almost an hour, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna edit any of this. I might just leave it as is, But I appreciate y'all for coming through. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe so that way you know when the next video comes out. Because these are, I really only come on here when I'm like inspired to talk about something now, which I feel like is how it should be. So you never know. You never know when I'm gonna be around. And make sure to hit the like button so that way this video gets recommended to more Huntrix fans and more people like yourself if you're not a Huntrix fan. And until the next time, hope you have a nice evening or night. Guys, enjoy it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.